Let's do this. Hi there, my name's Carolyn Dunn and I'm a Dot Mandala artist. And today I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Today we're working on, surprise, another Lazy Susan. I've already finished the back and varnished it. The front I've laid out into 32 sections. And in this video, I've left in some of the mistakes, some of the changes that I made, so you can see how I go through that process. It's never perfect from the beginning, but it ends up beautifully. So we'll just walk through that whole process, okay? And I've laid out the circle guidelines from about here, 0.5 centimeters all the way along. And here's our color palette for this Lazy Susan. Heritage Brick, Mississippi Mud, Portabello, Fawn, Desert Sand, Buttermilk, Sour Apple, Sunny Day, in the metallics, Worn Penny, Purple Pearl, the Liquitex Basis Fluid Titanium White, and then we have two of the Nuvo drops, and this one is Dandelion Yellow, and this one is Copper Penny. And there we go. Quick reminder that once you put in those chalk lines, please go through and brush them so that you don't have any excess chalk on there. All right, I think we're good to go. We're going to start with our center dot and we're going to put that in Buttermilk, number 12. I'm going to go in with some Fawn dots. Let's do the pink tool, shall we? There we go, Fawn all the way around. And next we're going to go in with the Portabello using the 2mm tool. So we're just going in between those dots. And now we're going to go back in with the Buttermilk and we're going to create a dot and we're going to drag that down in. And I'm going to use the needlepoint tool to drag that dot down. Yep, I made a mess. Everything was going so well, and then it went off the rails. I was trying to fix one little thing, and I ended up getting myself into this center dot, and so now we're trying to save the day. And I haven't edited this out because I want you to know that even if it seems like such an overwhelming mistake that you just have to scrap it or sand this piece down, you don't. There's always a way to fix it. So I'm just going to peel that dot off. I'm going to paint that center black, and then we'll get that dot back in. And I know it looks like a mess right now, but trust me, by the end, it's going to be beautiful. I decided this dot had to go too. Here I'm using a tiny piece of sandpaper. All right, let's start putting our dots back in place. Patience is a virtue, and things like this will happen. You'll drop something into your paint, and like I did into the middle there, or get your hand into it, and you just have to know that all is not lost. I will definitely say I was pretty close to sanding that off, or if I had had another board prepped, I would have done that. But we persevere. Now I really want to let these dry before I try and bring up the Buttermilk in between them. Well, the center dot is going to make or break whether or not we continue on with this piece, so let's get it out of the way. So we thought we would still go in with the number 12. Yay! Center dot back in. And now let's get back at those Buttermilk swooshes and fix those up as well, and then we can just move forward like nothing ever happened. Okay, so we're going in with a round of Fawn dot. Okay, we still have to get a little copper one down there. So this one continued to be a challenge for me, and I had put in some raw umber dots, but I just felt that they were too dark. So now I'm going in with the Heritage brick, using the 7.5mm tool and covering up those dots. Yes, love it. I'm using the 1mm tool, the large end of the paint tool, and I'm just creating some dots above these Heritage brick flower bases. And I'm going to use the 0.5mm tool to drag some swooshes down. There we go, all the way around. And we'll do one more just like this, only in the fawn paint. Okay, we're going in with the Sunny Day Yellow, and we're going to put some Sunny Day Yellow in here, and then we're going to drag that using the small end of the yellow tool. And we're going to do this all the way around. I'm going to bring in some sour apple, and on either side of those I'm going to put just tiny little green dots using the small end of the yellow tool. There we go. I think I will take a round of those green dots. So using the blue tool, we'll just start adding some dots here. While you weren't looking, I went in with the 11mm tool and placed a worn penny copper dot over that center dot. And I think we'll go in with the number 6 and the copper on the Heritage brick. Okay, Mississippi mud. And we're just doing right up at that top there, and with the small end, drag that swoosh down. And I want it all the way down to the bottom. That's the Mississippi mud in. Going in with the Portabello, and we're just coming down the sides there. And again, we want to drag down with the small end. Now we're going in with Fawn. Same thing, we're using the white tool, the 2mm tool. So see how we're following these lines down, okay? So just want to Our last color will be desert sand. We will probably just do the small end of the tool here. And we really want these two guys to meet. There we are, all the way around. Surprised me. Okay, so we will be putting a little dot in there, and I think we're going to do that in white. Maybe the green tool. Let's have a look and see. I think that'll be just about perfect. See how that pops that just out towards you? Just that little touch of white there. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing in reverse. We're gonna start with the Mississippi mud, and I wanna make sure this line here is where my swooshes are gonna come to, and I'd really like them to be straight all the way along there. And if they aren't, I'll have to get the black paint out. Okay, so I believe we started with the white and then we moved down. So starting up here, the Mississippi mud, just on that line. And then we just want to bring it down. To there. Always look at where your guideline is, but also where your design is at. Okay, so you want to get in between there somewhere, if you know what I mean, because you want to have symmetry all the way around. A compromise, I guess is what I'm saying. Because you need to be able to look at this and feel the symmetry of it. And the Portabello is next. And there's my train. All right, so now we're going to, basically what we're looking at is something like that now, right? Let's start here. There we go. Okay, it's time for the fawn. On to the buttermilk. Now we don't need to move down a size like we did last round because we've got plenty of room. So there you go. So let's just take this to that line and down. I think we're going to throw a couple of copper dots in there. Okay, dot, dot. Okay, so we're using the large end of the yellow tool to place these dots. So I'm thinking white again there, 3.5. And it's a little tricky, but we're going to try and keep in line with everything else. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We get as close as we can. Uh-oh, I have some issues with bleeders with the copper, so we'll fix it right now. Just a couple of them. So when you're fixing these, it's such a gentle push. You don't want to get it into anything else, so it's just a slight movement. Back and forth, up and down, whatever it takes. Sometimes you can just push the paint back into place and that works. In this case, they're too far gone. And we'll touch that up with a bit of black paint before we lay down the new copper. Put them back in. And we'll just move to the larger end of the yellow tool, the large end. And we'll put some copper dots down here too. Okay, my friends, I really feel it has to be green. So we're going in with the sour apple. Okay, number 4 it is. We'll go in with the 11. And we'll just start right here. And have a look and see where the top of that goes. You want them all to be pretty much the same. Lovely. Okay, let's get ready to walk some dots if you're working along with me. The colors we're going to use are Buttermilk, Desert Sand, and Fawn. And we'll start with the Buttermilk. How about we start with the pink tool? So that is the 1mm tool. All right, let's go around and walk these dots. Desert sand. I'm gonna stick with the large end of the pink tool, same that we were using before. Now we're going in with the Fawn paint, the large end of the white tool, 2.0 millimeter tool, and we're creating 2 dots and then a third dot on top, and then we'll walk those dots down. Using the number 6 tool, we're going to place a titanium white dot right there. And then we want to take this the small end of the green tool. All right, let's get those white tops in. Okay, and now we will dot around the white with yellow with a very fine tip tool. And I'm going to go in with the Sunny Day Yellow. Okay, I've just marked out the outer rim because I am going to do alternating swooshes. So that's how much room we have. So now that we know how much room we have, we can go in and place our heritage brick dots. And we're using the 11.5 tool here to create flower bases above the tiny little white flowers with yellow petals. Grab any bubbles. Now these petals will be in desert sand to start, then fawn, and then Mississippi mud. Desert sand. The 0.5 millimeter tool for this first row. Yep. Okay, folks, we're going in with worn penny to do our top dots. Going in with the number 8. Perhaps we will do a similar thing here as we did down there. And we're base painting this in the Sunny Day Yellow. Fair warning, we will be adding Nuvo drop paint in Dandelion Yellow over top of this, and I will not like it when it's done. So I will be going in later on in this video to peel off all of those. Stay tuned. Now using the 2.0 millimeter tool, we'll place sour green apple dots at the base of those yellow petals. Using the 0.5 millimeter tool, we're going to start those alternating swooshes, and the first color is Mississippi Mud. And we've already gone along and measured out 0.5 centimeters all the way around, so we know we're good for space. Now we're heading in the opposite direction with the fawn paint. Okay, I went in over those yellows and I added some Nuvo crystal drops in Dandelion Yellow. And now I'm taking the purple pearl metallic paint and just putting a top dot in here. And that's the 4 that I'm using. And here we're using the S2 tool from the Happy Dotting Company. Now we're going in with the small end of the yellow tool, and we're going to walk some white dots halfway down these petal shapes. Off camera, I added some purple pearl swooshes using the large end of the blue tool. I've sketched in these lines, and now I'm just taking some dots in white across. I start in the center. And we're just doing single dots. One more. And now we'll walk dots. Now I'm going to create some swooshes here on either side of that yellow petal using the large end of the white tool and the purple pearl paint. And remember, I'm still going to peel off those yellow petals. Now we're going in with the S4 tool from Happy Dotting Company, and we're adding some titanium white dots here. Okay, you can see that my yellow, I tried to put Nuvo drop yellow over top of the yellow because the yellow was sort of cracking, and it just really didn't work out. So this is what I'm doing. I've done one. I'm going to peel up all of them. Yep. And then we'll regroup. So basically I'm just using one of my needlepoint tools. I try and get around the edges first if I can. And then it's peeling up nicely actually, I'm surprised. I was a little bit hesitant to do the first one, but I just couldn't leave it, so. The other thing is, I feel that they were too big as they were for that space, so that was another reason I wanted to pull them up and redo that space. I'm gonna try my hardest not to leave any little ridges because it'll show. And on the other hand, I don't want to dig any grooves into this, so. There's something very satisfying about this. Ooh, nice. I love when you can get a good peel out of it. I got up last night, I guess about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, maybe I'll paint. The house is quiet, there's no dogs tippy-tapping around, and I got a lot done. But this must have been closer to 5 o'clock in the morning. And you're doing it and you're knowing, like you're really knowing that it's not doing what you want it to do, and it's should have stopped then, but I didn't. So here I am, peeling it off, which is really quite satisfying. Yeah, come on, take the edge with you, please. What do you think? Nice. Okay, I won't make you watch all of it. Okay, so they're all off. And I've painted that area in with the base coat again, the black. And then I've sketched in some smaller versions of the yellow petals. Wish me luck. Okay, so we've got the Sunny Day Yellow in the smaller petals, and as our base coat, because we are going to go back in with the Nuvo drops in the Dandelion Yellow. And right now we're putting sour apple green dots using the small end of the yellow tool at the top of those petals. And then we're going to use a fine tip tool, something smaller than your yellow tool, to create dots along either sides of those petals in the sour apple. And here I'm using the white tool to place copper dots at the base of those yellow petals. And now we're going back in with the Nuvo drops in the Dandelion Yellow, to beef up those yellow petals and to give them a little dimension, like we did with the first ones. You'll just place a little dot there in the middle, and then you'll drag it out with your tool. So to me, it was well worth it scraping off those large yellow petals. I love these the way they are now. Okay, time to clean off those guidelines. The only ones I have left are in the center here. Clean them off. And just make sure they're gone everywhere. It's time for the saran wrap test. Just trying to figure out which color I would like best as a top dot here. That's just too much purple. Nope. Okay, so I trialed a few colors on here. I tried Mississippi Mud. No. I tried the Buttermilk. Not bad. And then I tried the Heritage Brick. That's a pearl white I tried. Okay, so I have dithered and dithered about these top dots because I just love the copper on its own, but it really feels like it needs top dots. So I'm going in with the desert sand mixed with gloss medium, because sometimes those lighter colored paints can crack, and I don't want that happening. And now we'll go on those outer dots, and I think we'll go to the 5. I wish I hadn't left it so long because I want to get to varnishing. But you have to be certain of what you want to do, right? And we'll go in with the 3.5 for those inner dots. I will not be top dotting the center dot. Those top dots are gonna need top dots. Okay, so you see the copper Nuvo drops that I have here? I want to put them as top dots on the top dots we put on earlier. So, I know it's a lazy Susan, so you don't want too much relief, but I'm gonna do it because I want to do it. Before you squeeze your drops onto your piece, make sure you squeeze a little bit out onto a paper towel or a wipe or something, just to make sure you're not getting any air bubbles. Okay, and then we're just squeezing onto each dot. Just a tiny one. There we go. I love the dimension. Love it. It's time to varnish. And this is our second coat of varnish. Dust off, just in case it picked up any dust overnight. Once we've got all the way around, we'll put a little bit more in the middle. Make sure we've got everything covered. And then we'll do our drawdown. And I'll give this piece 4 coats of varnish. Looking good, my friends. Okay, and we'll let that dry. And there it is, all finished. It's got 4 coats of varnish on the front. I've reattached the back, and now it's a beautiful Lazy Susan. Look at that sheen with the high gloss varnish. That is beautiful. Thank you all so much for watching my video. It was my goal in this video to let you see that mistakes will be made, and there's generally always a way that you can fix them. Or if you get partway through and you want to make a change, it can be done. So thanks again for watching. I hope you'll take a moment to subscribe so you can see my next videos. And remember, keep on dotting.